YouTubers, this is Kevin from Survivor Super Fun Time Show. And, now the Survivor 47 is done. We're going to be looking at off-season content. A lot of that's going to be, looking at Survivor 50, kind of redoing some of those lists because, everyone's dying. Everyone's fiending at the idea of trying to figure out who's going to be on that cast. First, I want to give you a disclaimer for all you spoiler-heavy fiends out there. Know that right now they're in the stage where they're making calls and they're getting to the point where they're like trying to confirm Survivor 50 people. They're not quite there yet, but they're almost there. And I'll tell you this, if it's a lot of new era people, no one from the new era is going to be leaking that they're on Survivor 50. None of them want to upset Papa Pros. So whatever list you think you've seen, it's probably not accurate. So I just want to give you that heads up. When I make my list, they're totally fan fiction and ones that I think, probably pros should listen to, but that's beside the point. They're not going to be actually credible lists. But this video today instead is actually talking about two of the seasons that are probably going to be heavily scrutinized when thinking about the Survivor 50 cast list. And it is Survivor 47, which we just finished, and Survivor 46. And I really want to take a moment and compare the two because now, with recency bias as it is, everyone said Survivor 47 is the greatest season in the last 20 sets of seasons. And I want to talk about why I don't even think it's better than the one before that. But before we get into that, make sure to hit the subscribe button to the channel. I would really appreciate it. All right, so to get into it, the claim Survivor 46 is the superior season to 47. Now, of course, we can get one thing out of the way. If we're talking about characters and you watch this channel, you know that I said a long time ago that Survivor 46 is clearly the superior season when it comes to better characters, better individuals that pop out on the screen, that grab you, that are kooky, that are unique, that are big, that are larger than life, that really make you either root for or against them in a pretty huge way. Whereas I think Survivor 47 lacked that. They were just plain people that played a good game. They weren't caricatures in any way. I mean, Andy had a meltdown and a crash out in episode 1, but Andy was a pretty normal guy. I don't think he did anything odd. He just betrayed people. And I think that's standard. Sam, standard awesome guy. Rachel, standard awesome lady. Teeny, same thing. And then Sue, over and over again, we had pretty much the same. To the point where people were considering someone like Gabe to be this wackadoodle villain on the level of Russell Hantz for a second. Only for a second. Don't get yourself too hyped up there, Gabe. But when you look at Survivor 46, I think I can make the argument for so many of these people that will go down in the annals of Survivor history as top tier characters. And I don't think I can say that about anyone from 47 other than maybe Rome. And no one wants to acknowledge Rome. They hate his guts, so they don't like to put Rome on these positive lists. But I think it's true. So well established that I think some of the people from 46 are just bigger characters. I mean, honestly, the whole Yanu tribe itself has more than the entirety of Survivor 47. And that's one way to measure a season being better. Not everyone's way, but that's one way. However, really the main contention is the strategic element that I think fans have really latched on to, and some Rob as a podcast people and other commentators that would say Survivor 47 has been the best strategic season. And I want to push back on that pretty heavily. I don't even think the players were better than the ones in 46. Now, if you look at the Banu, the dark days of Banu on Yanu, if you look at that time from episode 1 to episode 3 and 4, yes, an argument can be made that was a horrific period of strategy. Totally. However, that we can probably all agree that was a major outlier for the season. That was a major outlier for the history of Survivor. But the rest of the season kind of went pretty smoothly. I mean, Siga's first tribal council, they blindsided somebody with an idol. Pretty big deal. The invention of the +1 alliance almost immediately by Hunter, Tim, and Q. That was a huge strategic push-off point that set the tone for the rest of the game in a pretty huge way. Q set the tone coming from the minority tribe from Yanu, and he was able to establish, the +1 alliance of 6 people going to the Mergentory that effectively dictated so much more going forward. And when I say it dictated, I don't mean it was like a Reba 4 steamroll. No, in fact, it was the opposite. It was such a disaster and it fell apart immediately that it helped initiate where people should go. They figured out how to navigate the puzzle board. Whereas I felt like 47, it was kind of a loose smattering of things. The Gattos were together for a hot second, and then Andy flipped on them. Okay, fine. The Lavos loosely were together, sort of, flipped on them. Tukus, that kind of got blown up right away when Saul ended up using the advantage on Rachel to keep her in the game and get rid of a Tuku. So Yes, I mean, it was good. I felt that it was more methodical in 46. I thought there was more reasoning. Tevin setting up the blind side of Soda, and then Venus believing that it was actually her blind side, and Tevin letting her believe that, while Liz was letting Tevin and Venus believe that it was their idea. I thought that was really brilliant. And one of the biggest reasons I also have to add to it is Maria and Charlie. I mean, Maria and Charlie basically, in one form or another, controlled the merge from then on. In the beginning, obviously, it was a lot more up for grabs. You had people forcing their will on certain votes, but Charlie and Maria were always in a really good spot. They weren't necessarily being targeted until the very end when they were starting to target each other. So really, the duo of Charlie and Maria, insanely impressive. It's up there with, the Tika 3, the Reba 4. And that for 47, I don't think they really had that. Like, I thought Caroline was part of a duo with Sue, where Caroline was really doing an amazing job. However, I didn't think Sue was doing a particularly amazing job. No one had the dominance that Charlie and Maria had strategically. And the biggest reason why I actually give 46 a lot of credit for how strategically they played is something that a lot of people hold against them as to why they played poorly, which is they voted out 4 people in a row with idols. That's huge, okay? They got 4 people who had idols in their pockets to be voted out without pulling the thing out. How is that possible? Now you think right away, you're like, oh, the idol holders are the idiots. Yeah, obviously, that's an argument. That's an argument. But really, the bigger argument I would make is, how good are the other people that they convinced the idol holder not to pull the thing out? Hunter knew he was in danger, and he did not pull the idol out. Tiffany knew everyone knew about it and that she was in danger. Still didn't pull the idol out. Now, Venus was probably a little foolish, probably should have pulled it out. But to be fair, Venus had missed several bullets throughout the game. And actually, that was another strategic move that I liked that the 46ers did. They got to a point where they realized, why are we trying to get rid of Venus? She's a GOAT. We don't need to get rid of her. No one's going to vote for her, drag her to the end. So I thought that was a good shift by all the players at the merge to stop going for Venus. Yeah, I mean, the players there really showed up by making sure these advantages did not get played. Listen, I know it's sexier to play an advantage and to make it work. That's why Survivor 47, everyone's drooling over Rachel being able to play her idol and block herself from being voted out. But at that point, it was a given, wasn't it? I actually am not that hype on Rachel's play. It's what she needed to do. But I thought actually Rachel playing it was kind of a no-brainer. Whereas like 46, getting people to not play their idols over and over again, I'm super impressed by that. And Saul using his advantage to save Rachel from the Tukus early on, I thought that was smart, I guess. I don't know if it worked out. I mean, Saul got voted out not terribly long later, and obviously Rachel then ended up winning the game. I don't know if he did that to save Rachel versus to get rid of a Tuku. I'm not really sure. I mean, I certainly questioned Genevieve voting out Saul when she did. I didn't really understand why she did that. It put a huge target on her back, which made it very hard for her to get to the end. Sue didn't use her idol the whole time until the very end when it was basically meaningless. And I don't know why she didn't do that, other than I don't think Sue's a player that was ever playing to win the game. I think Sue was playing a game to hang on to the final 3. And that's not really what you're aiming for when you play Survivor. And of course, for 46, I'm going to say the same about Ben. I think Ben is in the same category as Sue, probably, as they played, but they really weren't playing to win. So although the advantages that were played were more effective in Survivor 47, particularly by Rachel. Rachel used the block a vote right. She used the immunity idol right. And of course, I have to give her flowers for using her shot in the dark in kind of a way to read the room at that one tribal council, where she played it not expecting to actually hit it. She just wanted to know if she should use her idol, which, I mean, that goes into a whole thing I have about, Rachel kind of got pretty lucky to win the game because she had all these advantages she could stack up. However, I don't want to be a hypocrite. I loved Austin from 45, and I thought he should have won the game because of his advantages. So I can't say that he should have won, but she shouldn't have. So obviously Rachel played an amazing game, and she utilized her advantages to the max capacity, whereas someone like Austin, tragically as it is, I can say he did not because he gave an idol away to Julie, which ended up being part of his undoing. Rachel, however, ended up using her plentiful advantages in a strategic way. Although those are probably sexier, I actually think that in Survivor 46, when they got them to not play the idols, that was more impressive as a whole by the cast. So I have to give the nod to 46 in this instance when we're talking about which one is more strategic. And then it brings up a huge debate, which is kind of the last piece of this video. Is the discussion is, does the winner really dictate how good of a season you think it is? Because if that's the case, then I understand why people are saying Survivor 47 is better. Although I am a huge Kenzie fan, I think Kenzie was fantastic, a prototypical Survivor player. However, people liked Rachel so much more, and they thought Rachel was going to win, and they wanted Rachel to win since the preseason. Whereas in 46, there were a lot of people who really did not like Kenzie to start the game. Why? No good reason why, honestly. She didn't play an idol to save herself, so she didn't have that hype, I guess. But she was a superior strategic threat. She was a social player that was incredible. And I don't see any reason why you shouldn't be stoked that she won. But a lot of people saw Charlie's confessionals and decided that Charlie should have been the winner. So because Charlie didn't win, therefore the season isn't nearly as good. Whereas Rachel, her being the winner, makes 47 better. If for some reason Sam had been able to squeak out a win of 4-3, then I think people would look at 47 as a bad season in comparison to what it is now. I mean, I guess it's like with any story. The grand finale is really what you leave a lasting impression with. So when 46 went down, people were not quite as stoked on it. And they are with 47. So now everyone's thinking it's like the best season since Kagegan or something, which I love 47. I love the people in 47. You played your guts out. I love how really collegial and awesome the cast is. And they seem like buddies. It's really great. But like strategically, I don't know. Maybe enough time has passed that we could sit down and go like, maybe 46, especially the merging on, 46 is superior. And I swear to God, I'm not trying to be hot takey. I hate YouTube accounts that are hot takey about these things. This is a topic that came up in my head the other day. I'm rewatching 46 right now, and I'm up to Tiffany's vote out, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, 46 is so much better than 47. Because there were points where I was so bored in 47. I think up until maybe Operation Italy? No, I think I was bored up until Saul gave the advantage to Rachel. And then once she used that, I was bored for another 2 episodes until maybe Operation Italy. The 47, it has people I love, but the game, not overall loving it like I did with 46. And to be clear, 45 is still my favorite. 46 is not my favorite. 45 is my favorite season of the new era. But I think 46, you got to give it its flowers. There's so much moving and shifting, and these people were gamers, dude. 47... there's a lot of people that I felt were more content to sit back, whereas 46, I think they were in there all the time. And to be clear, they're all there. They're all gamers. They're all there to play. I'm just saying I think 46 were mover and shakers more than 47. So that's it. If you can put together the words that I just said and can figure out what I'm trying to say here. Basically, I think Survivor 46 was a superior strategic season and a superior from a character standpoint than 47. Do you think it's really just the winner that has elevated 47 above 46 in many fans' eyes, or is it just simply recency bias? I don't know. Maybe we'll be rooting for the chocolate milk guy in 48 as the best new person of the new era. I don't know. Let me know down below in the comment section, and I would love to talk to you about it. All right. Otherwise, hope you have an amazing day, everyone. You take care. Goodbye. And happy holidays.